Second leg of our marathon. Let's talk about input latency. To hit a perfect on every tiles, you have to compensate for the about 20 milliseconds of delay. At 128 ppm, that's manageable, but we speed up that the window shrinks to nothing. This track is a deep house remix. Technically, it's all about the sub-bass frequencies. Most of these bass lines in the between 40 Hz and 60 Hz. You feel them in your chest before you then rather you hear it then. The producer here used the classic Roland and TR-909 drum machine for the punchy kick. The history of the 909 is the history of the dance music itself. Its side DNA of the beat. Notice how the tiles are swing in the pace. That's napping the claps on the second and fourth beats. If you close your eyes and you can almost play this by the rhythm of the snare alone. My thumb is finding the pocket. Now that's the technical term for the being perfectly in sync. We are ramping up to 135 bpm. The vocal chop era is here. Remix take a human voice, cut it into tiny pieces and treat it like a percussion in an instrument. Every time you hit a tile on a vocal note, you are essentially playing the singer. It's a desired way to think about it. Build it help with you the timing. The intensity is low for now, but the energy flow is rising. Stay focused on the horizon line. Don't look at the tile you are hitting. Look at the next one. Anticipation is 90% of the game limit also. The history of this track. It was originally a pop hit and the fell until the remix service. That's the power of good EDM flip. It gives a musical second line. The target check. 2, 5, 3 and counting. Let's post the tempo. 145 high BPM. The entering the crosstalk zone. Get ready for this sound under sound design. In the technical, we are looking at waveform synthesis near a frequency modulation. Probably the bass sound is basically one wave and eating another wave at high speed. In tiles of these growls and create a slider tiles. Keep your thumb and press down. If you lift your thumb too early, the face breaks and you lose the combo. The artist here is a pioneer of the EATER dubstep machine who moved to change the world. You can hear an influence of the heavy metal in this mid-range scenes. The gameplay is getting erratic. The tiles are no longer in the straight line. I am having to flip across 80% of the screen right now. My thumb is starting to get the friction burn. Filling the screen is getting warm. 150 ppm. The map says we are hitting the tiles every 400 milliseconds. That's faster than the blink of human eyes. History check. A trap music came from the south of the, but the EDM trap that is a global. It's all about 808 kick deep, long and distorted. The cam handles these 808s by giving a heavy tiles that vibrate the device. It's a sensory overload, a buzz in the ears, a vibration is hands neon in the eyes. I'm losing my breath a bit. This section is relentless. Did you see the quadruple jump? That was a perfect execution. I am not even thinking about the music anymore. I am just reacting to the pulses. We are 30 minutes in the real challenge start. Now the 172 bpm the speed the drum and bass. This is where the most felt. Technically, A and B is characterized by the fast breakbeats and the heavy low end. We are hitting the snare on the 2 and the 4, but there's a kick on the 3.5. That's a kick is what makes the task feel jittery. You have to stay relaxed. If your thumb is tensions of the you will overshoot the task. The history of the break use here is fascinating. It's a 6 seconds drum solo from the 1969. Every time you hit these tiles, you are interested with the part of history. The remixer here is a drum programming genius. Listen to those fields. My multiplier is at 00. If I can hit 1000, it's a new record. The visual speed is insane. The background stars are just lines of the light. Now I am relying on the peripheral vision. I am not even looking at the center anymore. That's so it puts the edge of the screen to the next time. Swipe earlier. My thumb is moving like up and down, left and right. 175 BPM, the 176, the song is a pitch shifting upward. When the pitch goes up, the gain technically short the distance between the tiles. It's a psychological trick to make you panic. Stay calm. The history of this track is involved in a massive festival idea that the people search for years for. Now it's finally out. It's destroying my hands in the tiles of. Now that was a 180-degree turn on the tiles with my thumb almost slipped off the glasses. The recovered still in the gap. Let's keep moving. 190 BPM entering the grab and real and technical. The kick drum is told it's practically a square wave. This is a distortion as an art form. It's loud, it's fast, it's punishing. The producer is a legend of the underground scene in Italy. At 190 BPM, the interbeat and interval is roughly 315 milliseconds. So my nervous system is the thing of first two. It's a limit. I can feel the adrenaline spike. The tiles are coming in the coasters now. Tap, 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 and pause. Tap, tap, tap. It's a rhythmic test of endurance. My forearms are actually starting to ache. 20 BPM. No. 200 BPM. We have hit the double century mark. This is a camellia style difficulty total chance on the grid. The history lesson 200 BPM was considered unlistenable in the 90s. Now it's a mobile game. The remix artist here is known for polyrhythmic structures, while the drum are the 200. The melody is at 150. It's a 3 against 4 pattern. It's trying to trick my brain into the showing down. I won't let it. I'm literally sweating through my grip. The phone is getting slippery. Look at that stream. It's 20 tiles in a straight line at a light speed. If you miss one, you miss them all. It's a domino effect of failure. I'm holding my. I haven't examined in the 30 seconds. So yes, we cleared the 200 BPM section. My heart is pounding like a drum. Let's take a second as the song breakdown. The tempo is dropping. Descending back to 130 BPM. It's feel like a slow motion now. That's a velocity effect. After playing the 200, everything else feels like a walk in the park. Technically my brain is still overlooked, so I am hitting every perfect with this case. This history of this final track is a beautiful chill out and a theme from the Ibiza. It's a perfect way to cool down the thumb after that part. EDM Rush isn't just a game, it's a journey through the evolution of synthesized sound. We have covered everything from the 90s from blue to 2026 hardest speedcore. My final score is going to be my so look at the multiplayer. The technical of this run was off the charts. We hit a 98% of it, rating. My hands are actually trembling. That's a physical toll of high level rhythm game. I want to thank the remix artist who caused this boundaries. Without their impossible job, we wouldn't have a reason to get a better technical tips for the viewers. Use a microfiber cloth of your screen before a run like this. Finger oil is the number one cause of mistypes in a high BPM segment. We are at the 59 minutes mark. Almost over one last throw. A simple 128 BPM are so cool to finish the go. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the technical part of also. I'm going to get some water. Let me can rest. Subscribe if you want to see the marathon starting or final. First, let's talk about the audio visualization technology. Technically, the game uses a bit detection algorithm to decide where to place the tiles. It looks for the transitions, the very beginning of the drum it to trigger our movement. This track is a feature house, the masterpiece. Notice the metallic link in the bars. That sound was popularized by the artists like back in the 2014. The history of this sound comes from the talking of deep house bars in the morning. It up octave. My thumbs are in the autopilot. Now this is what the psychologists call the flow state. At this level my brain isn't processing left or right. It's processing the melody as a note. We are hitting 155 BPM. This is the hard depth, the crossover flow. Technically, the one at 0 at a kick here have a low decay. Let's make the screen vibrate longer. You have to be careful not to let the haptic feedback shake your phone out your hands. Look at the string of tiles itself, mimicking the abracadabra, the synth lines. The synth is a square wave with the fast attack and the zero sustain. In rhythm terms, that means the tiles are staccato, the short, sharp and fast. The remix artist errors and over 100 are just on the drum program. You can hear the snares in the background. They don't hurt us, but give the rhythm. If you listen to the snare, you will never miss the main task. It's a pro secret. My combo is reaching legendary status. The score is ticking up like a rocket. The 160 BPM, the long is freezing. Everything is getting quiet. This is an atmospheric section, not as for a second, just to hear a reverb. Technically, this is 100% wet reverb, washing out the original signal. The history of the big build up, it's designed to create a dopamine spike. This is a riser is hitting on 10,000 hertz drop. Absolute marathon. My thumbs are jumping across the glass. That was a crossover pattern moving from the far left the far right in the one beat. The 180 BPM, we are back in the elevator territory. Let's talk about the limiter on this track. It's so first, so hard the music feels like a wall. This is technically called the loudness or making track as loud as possible. The types of loud track are actually added because the visual cues are more aggressive. The producer of this mix is a legend from the 90s, synth himself. It's amazing to see how jungle rhythms year ago and now the top time gaming track. My multiplayer is flashing that's me and the top 1% of the physical figure is a real. My wrists are starting to feel the rhythm, but technically I am now performing over the 1 section per minute. That's faster than our average person can type. I'm doing with the two hands. The short, sharp and fast. The remix artists here spend over 100 hours just on the drum program. You can hear the snares in the background. They don't hurt us, but keep the rhythm. If you listen to the snare, you will never miss a main touch. It's a classic. My combo is reaching legendary status. The score is taking up like a rocket. The 160 BPM, the longest region, everything is getting quiet. This is an atmospheric section not as for a second just a pure river. Technically this is 100% wet river washing out the original signal. The history of the big build up, it's designed to create a dopamine spike. Yes, is a riser is hitting on 10,000 hertz drop. Absolute marathon. My thumbs are jumping across the glass. The water that was a cross of pattern moving from the left to right in the one beat. The 180 BPM we are attacking the elevator territory. Let's talk about the limiter on this. Hello everyone, starting the second leg of our marathon. Let's talk about input latency. To hit a perfect one every tiles, you have to compensate for the about 20 milliseconds of delay. At 128 BPM that's manageable, but we speed up that the window shrinks to nothing. This track is a deep house remix. Technically it's all about the sub-bass frequencies. Most of these bass lines in the between 40 Hz and 60 Hz. You feel them in your chest before you then rather you hear them. The producer here used the classic Roland and TR-909 drum machine for the punchy kick. The history of the 909 is the history of the dance music itself. It's the DNA of the beat. Notice how the tiles are swing in the bass. That's napping the claps on the second and fourth beats. If you close your eyes and you can almost play this by the rhythm of the snare alone. My thumb is finding the pocket. Now that's the technical term for the being perfectly in sync. We are ramping up to 135 BPM. The vocal chop era is here. Remix take a human voice, cut it into tiny pieces and treat it like a percussion instrument. Every time you hit a tile on a vocal note, you are essentially playing the singer. It's a desired way to think about it. Build it help with the timing. The intensity is low for now, but the energy flow is rising. Stay focused on the horizon line. Don't look at the tile you are hitting. Look at the next one. Anticipation is 90% of the game, and also the history of this track. The history of this track. It was originally a pop hit and fell until the remix service. That's the power of good EDM flip. It gives a music a second life. The power of track. 350 and counting. Let's post the tempo. 1:45. Hi, BPM the entering the doorstep zone. Get ready for this sound undersea sound design. In the technical we are looking at waveform synthesis near a frequency modulation. The probably the sound is basically one wave and eating another wave at high speed. In terms of these goals and create a slider tiles, keep your thumb and press down. If you lift your thumb too early, the face breaks and you lose the combo. The artist here is a pioneer of the EATER dubstep machine who moved to change the world. You can hear an influence of the heavy metal in this mid-range scenes. The gameplay is getting erratic. The tiles are no longer in the straight line. I am having to flick across 80% of the screen right now. My thumb is starting to get the friction burn. Filling the screen is getting warm. 150 ppm. The map says we are hitting the tiles every 400 milliseconds. That's faster than the blink of human eyes. Stay check or trap music came from the south of the but the EDM trap that is global. It's all about 808 cake deep, long and distorted. The cam handles these 808s by giving a heavy tiles that vibrate the device. It's a sensory overload, a buzz in the ears, a vibration is hands neon in the eyes. I'm losing my breath a bit. This section is relentless. Did you see the quadruple jump? That was a frame perfect execution. I am not even thinking about the music anymore. I am just reacting to the pulses. We are 30 minutes in the real challenge start. Now the 172 BPM the speed, the drum and bass. This is where the most fair. Technically, A and B is characterized by the fast breakbeats and the heavy low end. We are hitting the snare on the 2 and the 4, but there's a kick on the 3.5. That's a kick is what makes the tiles feel jittery. You have to stay relaxed. If your thumb is tensions of the you will overshoot the tiles. The history of the break use here is fascinating. It's a 6 seconds drum solo from the 1969. Every time you hit these tiles, you are interested with the part of history. The remixer here is a drum programming genius. Listen to those fields. My multiplayer is at 00. If I can hit 1000, it's a new record. The visual speed is insane. So the background stars are just lines of the light. Now I am relying on the peripheral vision. I am not even looking at the center anymore. That's pro tip. Push the edge of the screen to the next tiles. Swipe earlier. My thumb is moving like up and down, left or right. 175 BPM, the 176, the song is a pitch shifting upward. When the pitch goes up, the game technically short the distance between the tiles. It's a psychological trick to make you panic. Stay calm. The history of this track is involved in a massive festival idea that the people search for years for. Now it's finally out. It's destroying my hands in the tiles of. Now that was a 180-degree turn on the tiles with my thumb almost slipped off the glasses. The recovered still in the gap. Let's keep moving. 190 BPM entering the gap. Real and technical. The kick drum is is told it's practically a square wave. This is a distortion as an art form. It's loud, it's fast, it's punishing. The producer is a legend of the underground scene in Italy. At 190 ppm, the interbeat and interval is proudly 315 milliseconds. So my nervous system is being opposed to its limit. I can feel the adrenaline spike. The tiles are coming in the coasters now. Tap, 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 and pause, tap, tap, tap. It's a rhythmic test of endurance. My forearms are actually starting to ache. 20 bpm. No, 200 bpm. We have hit the double century mark. This is a camellia style difficulty, total chance on the grip. The history lesson 200 bpm was considered unlistenable in the 90s. Now it's a mobile game. The remix artist here is known for polyrhythmic structures, while the drum are the 200. The melody is at 150. It's a 3 against 4 pattern. It's trying to trick my brain into the slowing down. I won't let it. I'm literally sweating through my grip. The phone is getting slippery. Look at that stream. It's 20 tiles in a straight line at a light speed. If you miss one, you miss them all. It's domino effect of failure. I'm holding my I haven't examined in the 30 seconds. So yes, we cleared the 200 bpm section. My heart is pounding like a drum. Let's take a second as the song breaks down. The tempo is dropping. Descending back to 130 bpm. It's feel like a slow motion now. That's a velocity effect. After playing the 200, everything else feels like a walk in the park. Technically, my brain is still overlocked, so I am hitting every perfect with this case. This history of this final track is a beautiful chill out and a theme from the Ibiza. It's a perfect way to cool down the thumb after that part. EDM Rush isn't just a game, it's a journey through the evolution of synthesized sound. We have covered everything from the 90s drum loop to 2026 hardest speedcore. My final score is going to be my so look at the multiplayer. The technical of this run was off the charts. We hit a 98% of health rating. My hands are actually trembling. That's a physical toll of high level rhythm game. I want to thank the remix artist who caused these boundaries. Without their impossible track, we wouldn't have a reason to get a better technical tips for the viewers. Use a microfiber cloth of your screen before a run like this. Finger oil is the number one cause of missed tiles in high BPM segment. We are at the 59 minutes mark. Are almost over one last drop. A simple 128 BPM are so close to finish the go. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the technical part of tiles. So I'm going to get some water. Let me then rest. Subscribe if you want to see the marathon starting or final. First, let's talk about the audio visualization technology. Technically, the game uses a big detection algorithm to decide where to place the tiles. It looks for the transitions. The very beginning of the drum it need to trigger our movement. This track is a feature house, the masterpiece. Notice the metallic clink in the bass. That sound was popularized by the artists like back in the 2014. The history of this sound comes from the talking of deep house bars in the morning. it up. Okay. My thumb are in the autopilot. Now this is what the psychologist call the flow state. At this level my brain isn't the processing left or right. It's a processing the melody as a note. We are hitting 155 BPM. This is the hard tap, the crossover. So technically the 180 at kick here have a low battery. Let's make the screen vibrate longer. You have to be careful not to let the haptic feedback. Shake your phone out your hands. Look at the string of dials itself, mimicking the applicative. The synth lines. The synth is a square wave with the fast attack and the zero sustain. In rhythm terms, that means the dials are staccato, the short, sharp and fast. The remix artists years and over 100 are just on the drum program. You can hear the snares in the background. They don't have dials but keep the rhythm. If you listen to the snare, you will never miss a main touch. It's a pro secret. My combo is reaching legendary status. The score is taking up like a rocket. The 160 BPM, the long is freezing. Everything is getting quiet. This is an atmospheric section, not as for a second, just to be out of reverb. Technically, this is 100% wet reverb, washing out the original signal. The history of the big build up. It's designed to create a dopamine spike. Yes, is come the riser is hitting on 10,000 Hz drop. Absolute marathon. My thumbs are jumping across the glass. That was a crossover pattern moving from the far left the far right in the one beat. The 180 BPM, we are back in the elevator territory. Let's talk about the limiter on this track. It's supposed so hard the music feels like a wall. This is technically called the loudness, or making track as loud as possible. The types of loud track are actually added because the visual cues are more aggressive. The producer of this remix is a legend from the 90s, EATER himself. It's amazing. So see how jungle began. Here I go, and now the top time gaming track. My multiplayer of flashing that's in and the top 1% of the level. The physical figure is a real. My wrists are starting to feel the rhythm, but technically I am performing over the 100 section per minute. That's faster than our average person can type. I'm doing with the two hands. The short, sharp and fast. The remix artists here spend over 100 are just on the drum program. You can hear the snares in the background. They don't hurt us but keep the rhythm. If you listen to the snare, you will never miss a main touch. It's a pro secret. My combo is reaching legendary status. The score is taking up like a rocket. The 160 BPM, the long is freezing. Everything is getting quiet. This is an atmospheric section, not as for a second, just to be out of reverb. Technically, this is 100% wet reverb, washing out the original signal. The history of the big build up. It's designed to create a dopamine spike. Yes, is come riser is hitting on 10,000 Hz drop. Absolute marathon. My thumbs are jumping across the glass. That was a crossover pattern moving from the far left the far right in the one beat. The 180 BPM, we are back in the elevator territory. Let's talk about the limiter on this. Hello everyone, starting the second leg of our marathon. Let's talk. about input latency. To hit a perfect on every task, you have to compensate for the about 20 milliseconds of delay. At 128 ppm that's manageable, but we speed up that window shrinks to nothing. This track is a deep house remix. Technically it's all about the sub-bass frequencies. Most of these bass lines in the between 40 Hz and 60 Hz. You feel them in your chest before you then rather you hear them. The producer here used the classic Roland and TR-909 drum machine for the punchy pick. The history of the 909 is the history of the band's music itself, its side, DNA of the beat. Notice how the guitars are swing in the bass. That's mapping the claps on the second and fourth beats. If you close your eyes and you can almost play this by the rhythm of the snare alone. My thumb is finding the pocket. Now that's the technical term for the being perfectly in sync. We are ramping up to 135 bpm. The vocal chop era is here. Remix the take human voice, cut it into tiny pieces and treat it like a percussion in an instrument. Every time you hit a tap on a vocal note, you are essentially playing the singer. It's a bizarre way to think about it. Build it help with the timing. The intensity is low for now, but the energy for is rising. Stay focused on the horizontal line. Don't look at the tab you are hitting. Look at the next one. Anticipation is the 90% of the game, and also the history of this track. The history of this track. It was originally a pop hit and fell until the remix started. That's the power of good EDM flip. It gives the music a second life. The time check. 3, 5, 0 and counting. Let's press the tempo. 145 high BPM. The entering the doorstep zone. Get ready for this sound aggressive sound design. In the technical we are looking at waveform synthesis, neural frequency modulation. Probably the bar sound is basically one wave and eating another wave at high speed. In terms of this